All right, y'all, let's talk about this dream scenario 4x1. I put it in the community tab earlier this week, a couple days ago, and yeah, it's kind of did blow up a little bit. I saw it, kind of floating around the internet. Shout out to a lot of people. I think it, this kind of took a life of its own, which is pretty dope. I was just, like I said earlier in the week or last week, I was you know me with these community polls and all these like scenarios. I love to kind of put these out. So I thought it'd be a pretty good thing to just put out a hypothetical 4x1 where, you've seen in a couple different interviews, shout out to Justin Gatlin and Rodney Green, right? On Ready, Set, Go, they've been asking their guests like, oh, what's a 4x1 you would put out, you would create with yourself on it to all their guests. This kind of inspired me to put this graphic together to kind of get the conversation going. We'll do one with the women in a few. I'll also put some different combinations, but I thought this would be pretty interesting. So let's break down the different teams, and I want to go through a couple different comments and some people's reasoning as to why they picked their specific team. So first team, Christian Coleman to Michael Frater to Dennis Mitchell to Usain Bolt. Obviously, many people picked up on the fact that Christian Coleman is probably the fastest starter, at least right now. You could probably argue a couple people in the past as well, but the fastest leadoff leg that we've had in a long time. When I say we, I'm talking about the world of track and field. Michael Frater, he has been a mainstay on various different Jamaican 4x1s. You're talking about since 2000, probably even back to 2003, I think. 2003, 2004, he's been on the 4x1s. And more specifically, when Usain Bolt came in the scene, he's been running the second leg very consistently. Dennis Mitchell. People sleep on Dennis Mitchell and what he's actually done through his career when talking about the 4x1. Just want to show y'all, this is only the world record progression of the 4x1 on the men's side. Look at how many times Dennis Mitchell actually ran the third leg for all these world record 4x1 teams. Dennis Mitchell was a mainstay on this 4x1. So that's why I wanted to throw him in this conversation, because he has been one of those guys. While Santa Monica Track Club with Mike Marsh, Leroy Burrell, Carl Lewis, Dennis Mitchell was the only one not part of Santa Monica that was holding down that third leg. So shout out to Dennis Mitchell. And then of course, Usain Bolt, literally the greatest sprinter, if not the greatest track and field athlete that has ever graced our sport on the anchor leg. We've seen him run anchor literally every single time except for 2007 when he ran the third leg, right? He ran the third leg passing off to Asafa Powell. But this was team one. Team two, Asafa Powell. Asafa Powell on start off, not on lead off. This was a little controversial because in 2016 at the Olympic Games, Asafa did run the lead off leg. We know that Asafa, similar to like a Christian Coleman, similar to some other athletes, he has a legendary start. So I put him on the first leg. Trayvon Bromell, I probably could have switched these. Trayvon, Asafa, maybe could have switched them up a little bit, either first, second, whatever it may be. Ariane Knighton, everyone has been calling for Ariane to run on the third leg. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of trying to find a good third leg to mix things up a little bit, but threw Ariane on there. And then Carl Lewis, of course, we know that Carl Lewis with his anchor legs has been legendary since what, 1983 at least, right? At the World Championships, and then going all the way up to what, 1990. At least 1992, 93 or something like that. So he's been a mainstay there. Team three, I think for the most part, this was consensus, at least the second best team or the first best. I know it was between team one and team three. Nesta Carter, he has been leadoff leg for Jamaica for all their world record teams, for so consistent at Olympics and World Championships. Justin Gatlin is probably, I would probably say next to Usain Bolt on the anchor, I would actually say that Justin Gatlin might be the most consistent runner on their leg that a team has had, maybe in like recent era, looking at the past 10-15 years. Justin Gatlin, second leg, he is always extremely reliable. Tyson Gay on that third leg, we've seen him do serious damage on the third leg from 2007 when they got the gold medal, taking it from Wallace Spearman, then handing it off after he got that sprint triple. Of course, at the Olympics in 2012, yes, he did get walked down by Johan Blake there, but Tyson Gay. And then Maurice Green, we know what he does on the anchor leg. He's done it a bunch of times throughout the 90s and into the 2000s. Shout out to Maurice Green. Now, team four, this is a team that kind of got slept on, in my opinion, but John Drummond, I would argue, someone in the comments, y'all know who you are, go give me those splits and give me those data and the statistics and everything. John Drummond might be one of the fastest starters on a leadoff leg, and in terms of the 100-meter dash as well. You can maybe rival in terms of starter. I'm talking about start, right? Reaction time, and then, he's had some false starts, but, reaction time and maybe like the first 10 to 20 meters, right? Start, not full 100-meter dash, of course, but John Drummond is slept on. Wallace Spearman, we've seen what he's done on that second leg multiple times in his career. Johan Blake, you can argue that Johan Blake is probably the best curve runner I mean, that man, 2012, Johan Blake is that guy. And then Noah Lyles. I had to give Noah Lyles a spot on one of these relays to represent for the anchor legs that he's been running, over the past couple of years at the World Championships. Well, World Championships, nothing at the Olympics, unfortunately, yet. So those were the 4 teams. Now, almost for the most part, I think most people did pick up on the idea that Team 1 and Team 3 were the most competitive. I think overwhelmingly, it was the idea that you had the fastest leadoff leg, right, for the most part, and the fastest anchor leg. Now, the middle 2 legs, that's where things get a little tricky, and people then started to discuss Team 3 because Nesta Carter, we know what he does on the start, and then Justin Gatlin and Tyson Gay. You're talking about a very strong, top 3, and then of course you're talking about Maurice Green on that anchor leg. So there's a world where, Team 1, they get out extremely fast, but then they're behind when talking about a second and third leg going into the anchor leg. And then it's Usain Bolt versus Maurice Green. And yes, if it's like side by side, again, people go in the comments, you can give me the splits. If it's side by side, then yes, you're probably going to give Usain Bolt over Maurice Green, undoubtedly, right? Significantly faster. But if there's a world where Maurice Green has, I don't know, 5-ish meters, 10 meters, I don't know if it's that clear cut. That might be a very, very close race. And I want to give a shout out to Eastside, right? He said, this is so evenly structured, it'll be closer than most people think. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going with Team 1 or 3, assuming everyone is fully healthy and at the peak of their powers. You gotta choose. Is it 1 or is it 3? But I think that's the point of this, this lineup where Team 1 and Team 3 are pretty evenly matched for the most part. And that's what I wanted to try and do. I think I initially, just to give you some of my thinking, I probably should have put John Drummond on the first team and then switch that up, because then that would have created a dynamic where it's like, all right, you have the fastest anchor leg, the fastest athlete on this entire thing in Usain Bolt, but maybe not the strongest team overall. But, it is what it is. So Team 1, they're very strong. Team 3 is pretty strong. Yard Gunner said, a team with Bolt should have the biggest shout, but Team 3 is absolutely crazy, right? Don't sleep. Christian as leadoff and Bolt as anchor. Listen, that's what I'm saying, right? You're talking about the fastest leadoff, the fastest anchor. I don't know. Team 3, assuming the baton doesn't get dropped. Team 3 is strong. But I think overwhelmingly, that's what the consensus is, where it's Team 3, maybe Team 1 for the most part. Nobody is really picking Team 2 or Team 4. I know that, shout out to Lloyd, right? Between Team 3 and 4, they have the heavy hitters. I do like Team 4 because people sleep on the fact that Wallace Spearman, Johan Blake, and Noah Lyles as a trio can really do some serious damage. Yes, John Drummond on paper maybe isn't the fastest 100-meter runner, but he's an extremely fast starter. So shout out to them. Diggy, Team 1 taking it, ICL. Let me know what that means. But Coleman out the blocks is gone with the wind, even on a bend. Frater has been a backstretch king throughout the golden era of Jamaican sprinting. Like I said, Mitchell can run the bed smooth as a no comment. And the anchor leg is Bolt. The race would be close until the final leg, because if they all got the baton within a step or two, or even 3 of each other, we all know how the race is ending. So yes, like I said, if you have Usain Bolt on that anchor leg going up right to the line, they get the baton at the same time as Maurice Green, then you know it's going to be close. But a couple other comments I did want to get to. So EF, I think is here. He says, Team 3, Carter falls behind Christian Coleman and Asafa, but Gat cleans it up on the backstretch. Like I said, Justin Gatlin on that backstretch, one of the more consistent guys, and has enough of a lead that Gay can't get hawked down by Johan, and Mo Green finishes off by holding off a charging Bolt and Noah. Man, I like this breakdown. And I think a lot of people are starting to flow with Team 3. So yeah, this was a very good breakdown. Shout out to a couple people who were kind of like creating their own 4x1s. That wasn't the point here. I gave you a hypothetical 4x1. You got to work with what's on paper and see who actually, would win here, right? Yes, Powell, Gay, Blake, Bolt. Yes, you can create your own best, but, going with what we got. Shout out to J Double. This is actually very complicated. And shout out to Jay. He always puts some getting great footage of Jamaican track and field down there on the island. Huge shout out to you and all the work that you do. But says this is actually very complicated. The more I meds it, very good lineups with everyone at their best though. Team 1 all the way, since no one at their prime can catch a Bolt prime. However, Bolt prime can close any other primer. A lot of primes there, Jay, but I mean, you got to think about it. I don't know if it's that clean cut. Just like other people were saying, right? You have Justin Gatlin and Tyson Gay. You have Carter to Gatlin to Gay on the first 3 legs. Are we sure that the first team of who is it? Christian Coleman handing off to Michael Frater to Dennis Mitchell. Are you sure that they're going to be ahead of Carter, Gatlin, and Gay? Right? Are they going to be or close enough that Bolt can actually hawk them down? All due respect, it wasn't the greatest of relays, but shout out to the World Relays in 2014 or 2015, where the United States, they actually did take down Jamaica in that 4x1 at World Relays because there was just such a big gap. Now, that was a different team, right? You weren't talking about the all-star Jamaican team, but I don't know. That's something to think about. But shout out to JWO. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. A lot of different comments. Want to get to a few others. Team 1, Coleman is the best starter in history, undoubtedly. Frater can keep pace with anyone on that backstretch. He was very close to Gatlin in 2012. If Blake runs a 3rd leg like he did in London 2012, I still don't think it would be enough to have Bolt lose on anchor. Fair enough. And I do think us as fans, we're probably giving a lot of credit to Bolt, which very well deserved credit. But we have to acknowledge that there are 3 other legs that have to put, work in. Christian Coleman's going to get out fast, but Michael Frater, Dennis Mitchell, can they hold up with Justin Gatlin, Tyson Gay? I don't know. Can they hold up with Wallace Spearman, Johan Blake? I don't know. But this is good. Team 1 or 4. Interesting, Reaper. Team 1 or 4 purely on how the baton switches goes. I would give it to Team 1, but Blake has proven that he can cover any gap that is needed to make. Or if Usain catches it more than 10 meters behind, then it's tough. Otherwise, if the big man gets a level playing field, it's over. Yes, undoubtedly, it's over if Usain Bolt gets the edge, if he's ahead, if he's even close, it's gone. Remember, in 2012 at the London Olympic Games, Ryan Bailey and Usain Bolt kind of got the baton right really close to each other, but obviously Ryan Bailey is not running down Usain Bolt. Obviously Ryan Bailey, he was in very good form. Obviously he ran 9.88 that season, but he wasn't going to catch Usain Bolt at all, right? Yes, you could have had, maybe if it was, I was going to say maybe if it was Justin Gatlin. Nobody was catching Usain Bolt. He was a guy. AI, just talking about the different ones. But shout out to everyone who kind of commented. Let me get to, one other comment. So Team 1, handover first, followed by Team 2, then Team 3. On second leg, I have Team 3 making ground and handing over slightly ahead. Third leg, Team 3 is going to have the advantage with a prime Tyson Gay. The distance would be too far for Bolt to catch Maurice Green. So for me, Team 3 will win. Whew. That's a good breakdown. That's a good breakdown, but I don't know. This is what I actually do like about these conversations, because we know that it's close. And there's a lot of, we can get very technical. We can say like, oh, this is a split or this is a split. It's of course hard to break down 4x1 splits in some capacities, and baton exchanges, right? You got to talk about, baton speed through the zone. You got to talk about handoffs. You got to talk about all those technical aspects that are necessary to really complete a successful 4x1. But last comment I want to get to: best starter and finisher on one, but Team 3 is quality. The most questionable thing here is putting Asafa to start and letting Lewis finish. That team is stacked with top end monsters, and one bend runner at best. They may get cooked on the bend, but they eating good on them straight. Shout out to you, Peter. Like, listen, this is what I love. This is what I love. I think for the most part, this is what I'll say to close things out. Consensus, I would say it's split between Team 1 and Team 3. I think there might be a slight edge with Team 3. Might be a slight edge, but Team 1, I think it's maybe 50-50. I'll probably put up a poll to break that down. But I would say after that, Team 2 is in 3rd place, and then Team 4 is in 4th place, undoubtedly. Which is, it's interesting. I thought it'd be a little bit closer. Y'all sleep on Wallace and Johan to Noah? Y'all sleep on that. But Team 1, Team 3, Team 2, Team 4, Team 1 and 3, it's kind of split. But let me know what you think about this 4x1, hypothetical scenario. Again, shout out to all y'all who kind of shared it out. I saw it kind of, floating around the internet on a lot of different spaces and making its round. So I appreciate y'all. Always go into the community posts. I'm going to be putting a lot of different polls. I'm thinking of doing some more brackets as the season progresses. Shout out to y'all if you've been here since 2023. That's when I first started doing brackets, I think in the spring or summer or so. But let me know what you think. Go in the comments and let me know what your 4x1 from this hypothetical scenario would have been and who you think would actually win. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.